Let me undo myself here. Hey, Dewan. Hey, everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, I'm
I'm
still
always
having
getting it. I'm
still
always
having
getting it
camera
together.
issues.
No, Dewan, we need your face, honey. We need your face. We got video. We need your face.
Hold on. I'm gonna try one more thing.
We need your
Hold on 1 second.
face, honey. We need to see ya. What's today's date, Lord Jesus? Happy Monday. Y'all gonna have to forgive me. I'm gonna keep asking for your forgiveness and your grace all night today. Hey, what's up, y'all? Hey, Gene. I miss you guys. Every time you come to Atlanta, I miss you guys. Oh, Gene, you would be so good on this conversation, girl, because you have been married for 100 years, happily married for 100 years. So you definitely could weigh in on this conversation. Girl, pop over on Facebook, because Instagram is acting real funny. And so it won't allow me to do my multi-stream on Instagram. So I've got to do it on Facebook and YouTube. And I'm just on Instagram to tell everybody to join me on one of the other two platforms. Okay. Child, I just don't. One day I'm going to have my life all the way together on a Monday at 7 o'clock. One of these days, just not today. So y'all just going to have to work with me again. Okay. Dewan's his camera ain't working. Oh, there he goes. There you go.
Hey.
There
now you
you
probably
go.
can't hear me, right?
Huh?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so hi everybody on Instagram. I'm still working through the kinks of why Instagram doesn't want us to doesn't want to display us right on Instagram. So I'm on Instagram just telling the people to join me over here. But hello, Dewan, how you doing, darling?
Oh, you have no idea. It's been like the crazy day from hell. More like the crazy weekend from hell.
No. Can I
Just busy stuff.
offer something to that crazy day and then weekend? I was just
Sure.
having this conversation 5 minutes before we went live. I was saying every day, I found myself saying every day, oh, what a crazy day. The next day, oh, what a crazy day. What a crazy day. And it was like, it was a recurring theme, right? Till finally in my devotion last week, I realized that it wasn't a day, it wasn't a specific week, that it's been a season.
Right.
It's literally been a season where life has just been lifing. And the days where I'm able to breathe a little bit, that's just God saying, okay, I'm gonna give you a break today, but we're back into the season tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, because I can't seem to catch a consecutive break.
Right.
So that's when you have to say, this ain't just a day, y'all. Recognize what's happening here. It's a whole season that I'm going through right now. And the season doesn't necessarily mean that it's only your stuff, but it's stuff that's brought your way, maybe by people you love, or in your circle of influence, and so it does become yours, right? So yeah, I'm 'tis the season, and I'm not talking about Christmas.
I can relate. I definitely can relate. It has definitely been a season of change and growth and everything else in between. And I think sometimes we put ourselves in these seasons. So now I'm doing some evaluation of, I took on a lot more responsibility because I was bored. And now I'm not bored
because you
anymore.
were bored.
Oh yeah, I was bored. I was bored.
Okay, I'll trade
I was
lives
really
with you.
bored. I
Okay.
mean, I went from going like 1,000 miles an hour to where I just cut out. I stopped being a landlord. I stopped flipping properties. I was finished with school at the time.
Oh wow, we got to talk. We definitely got to talk about you. Stop, not a landlord anymore. Okay, so you understand what I mean when I say it's not just a day; it's a season. And speaking of which, in a couple weeks, that's actually the title of one of my podcasts that I'm going to be joined by my good friend Tamara Hudson, Lady T, and we're going to talk about that because it just needs to be unpacked, because it's not just me, it's not just you, it's the masses of us that are going through a season. And it's not just our individual lives. It is a season that we're going through as a human, as being a part of humanity. Because
Right.
if you turn on the news, you hear about this, that, and the other outside of your home. If you have any heart for humanity, surely you're taking on some of that, and you're extending compassion for that as well, right? So it's a season that we're going through in the world. It's a season that we're going through personally.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's healthy for us to really talk and have dialogue about it, so that we know that we're not alone, you know, and we can share, you know, just kind of share that in the season that we're supposed to be jolly. Not many of us are. Not many of us are.
That's true.
But
so with that said,
with that said, I just want to welcome you guys to With That Said Live Monday night. I'm Moshe Loren.
I'm Dewan Kiris.
Dewan is my host, and every Monday we go live at 7:00 to talk about the latest episode of the podcast, which was released on last Friday. It was episode 4. I'm 4 deep now. I'm 4 deep, yay! But the subject of that podcast was marriage, cheating, and divorce. Drum roll, please. I need sound effects. I'm used to radio. I'm used to being able to like hit a sound effect, you know. So yeah,
I had to listen to it twice. I was like, "Ooh,
dude, let me tell you, I got so many positive responses from that episode, because married or unmarried, relationships are up and down, right? Infidelity is a thing. Is a big thing that we've all dealt with. If you've had any relationship, you've been in, you know, some scenario where you were dealing with infidelity, whether you were the cheater or being cheated on. And then obviously divorce, because the divorce rates are so high. In fact, I was researching that. I wanted to see what the divorce rates were currently. And let me start, while I'm doing that, Dewan, why don't we start with me asking you this question?
Sure.
What do you think is the leading cause of divorce?
Money.
Okay.
Money.
Okay. Where do you think infidelity falls on that chain, on that hierarchy?
Depends on how much money you got.
Because if you got a lot of money, chances are we ain't getting a divorce.
All right. So this is my opinion. I don't really have statistics to back up this, but I do have life experience. What I've noticed is that a lot of men, as they accumulate more assets, or they get into a position, whether it be socially or financially, that they've always wanted to be in, they want to relive out their glory days, right? Those who haven't figured out what's important to them. And
you're saying only men with money go through this?
No. Oh. It's not even men with money. You could be progressively in a better situation. You can have, you know, because I wouldn't say money per se, but I would say things that help you get into a space of opportunity. So maybe you was taking a bus before, but now you got a car. Maybe you were working 2 jobs, but now you got 1 job that pays, you know, more than 2. You have more time. So I wouldn't always say it's money, but one of your guests had made a point that's very valid, you know, and I'm kind of skirting around and going all over the place, but all these things kind of go into that smorgasbord of infidelity and cheating and what drives, right? And I think the main thing is that we're hunters.
And my husband said that actually in the
podcast. Okay, that's what I thought it was.
My husband said that in the podcast, and I just wish he was here tonight. He's not here. Just sidebar, y'all send a prayer up for my husband, because he's crossing something off his bucket list tonight. Okay, he is actually he is such a funny guy, and he's always wanted to do stand up. Right?
Oh boy,
fun with it. And so he signed for an open mic. They put him on the schedule. He said yes, so he's here, and I'm here, and I'm like, I can't even be there with him. So he's such a funny guy, though. So I'm wishing him all the luck from here. But to your point. So
men are hunters.
Men are hunters, right?
Yeah.
So, but you said you believe that the leading cause of divorce
Yes.
is money.
That's right.
Okay.
Lack thereof or too much of it.
Lack thereof or too much of. Okay, I like that. So you're correct in saying, well, based on at least what I read, right? That infidelity is like way down on the list. Not way down, but I would say like 4, 3, 4, somewhere fluctuating between 3 and 4. And I was surprised at first until I really put it into perspective. And I realized that that's probably even the number is probably cheating is probably even lower than that. Because when I think about all the times, okay, all the times, whether it's in my marriage currently or in past relationships, I never left solely for cheating.
Right.
I never left solely for cheating. Now, repetitive cheating to someone who you're not married to,
right,
then maybe yes. But in a marriage, if infidelity happens in the moment while you're angry, while you're mad, you might say, oh, I'm out of here. You might start calling attorneys. You might start flirting with the D word, because I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, okay? But at the end of the day, when you sit down, okay, and you start weighing that shit out, you literally have to put it on a scale, and you have to balance it out. You have to weigh the pros and the cons, the goods and the bads. And what I found is that as long as, and I hate to say this out loud because it almost feels like you're giving them permission, as long as I've seen that there has been true like regret and repentance in your actions and your behavior, and then growth thereafter,
right,
I've stayed.
Well, yeah, because hopefully during that dialogue, you address the root cause of why the cheating occurred. Right? That's something as we grow from boys and girls to men and women, we work on our communication skills.
Yeah.
We start analyzing, the why, if you will. So, it's easier as you get older to kind of work through issues versus when you're younger. And people, who wants to be starting over at 50 and 55?
That part, listen, let me tell you something. That's a whole other thing. That's a whole other thing, because it's like, hey, y'all, what's up, Instagram? Y'all join us on YouTube and Facebook so that you can be a part of the conversation. I want to bring some of y'all in, but I can't do it on Instagram because I'm not, the program I'm using is not Instagram friendly. Okay, so pop out of here, click the link in my bio, and join us over on Facebook or YouTube. Okay, love you. So what was I going to say? I was about to say something before I went.
We were talking about 50, being over 50, and getting up in age and options.
That's a whole other issue. Okay, so other than the fact that yes, I need to see that after you made a mistake, because this is what my husband used to say. The first time he ever stepped out, right? It was pre-marriage. Right. And it was a mistake, right? And I couldn't understand what you mean by a mistake, because a mistake is, baby, I told you to bring home milk and you brought home orange juice. That's a mistake. You see what I'm saying? How do you trip up and mistakenly be up in somebody's hoo-ha? Huh? That's not a mistake for me. That was a deliberate decision that you made to do that.
No, I wouldn't say deliberate.
Well, in his case, he used to drink back in them days. So when he got caught up in mess, it was always when he was inebriated, right? So okay, so whatever. Okay, I could not see that as a mistake, because a mistake is just what the example I just gave you.
Right.
Okay, fast forward, we're married. So then it happened again. Okay, I'm still here. What was that?
Yeah. All right now.
Look at that. That ain't nothing. His spirit is still in you. Like, you better stop talking.
I'm a one and done kind of guy, but okay.
You said what?
You still there, huh? I said I'm a one and done kind of guy, and I know my wife. She don't believe in divorce, but she'll kill me. You know?
Well, no. I was very close to killing him and the girl. Like I was very like I'll tell that story in a minute because there's still a part of me. Like I know y'all might think I'm real polished and real put together, but not when it comes to my heart, because I get a little crazy. But what I was saying, I think the point that I was trying to make is that, and the serious part of this is that while my husband has had some indiscretions, a lot of his indiscretions were occurred during a time where he was drinking. And I used to say to him, you have a really complicated relationship with alcohol, without calling him an alcoholic, right? Because I just didn't want to say that. And I didn't know that alcoholics like him existed.
Yeah, it's like Jekyll and Hyde. I know what you mean. It's like a Jekyll and Hyde factor.
Well,
right? It's a whole different
like I seriously thought alcoholics they're on the corner, they're non-productive. You see them drinking a 40 out of a paper bag. That's what I looked at.
Oh, you mean like a functioning alcoholic?
He was not just functioning, above function. Like he used to work out every day. He did all the things, very productive, went to work every day, never called out, all that kind of stuff, but would just be drinking and would not have like a kill switch, right? And like I'm on 4 drinks, I'm smashed, he on 10, and he's still going. I'm like, what's up? So all that to say, when he decided to go to rehab,
right,
to figure out what the real issue was, and that and realize that alcohol was just a symptom of a bigger issue. When he did and started doing the work, that's when his behaviors changed, and he started to respect, our marriage and stuff. And so our infidelities, or his infidelities and indiscretions, happened during those times. And now, praise God, he has been sober and clean for 5 years. Hallelujah. 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 But so I'm saying that I understand those who stay for whatever your reason is for staying. I understand why people don't just leave, because friends will always be like, girl, he would have did that to me. No, you wouldn't have. Yeah. No, you. And not to mention, back to the age, I'm 48 years old. Guess what? Ain't nobody got time to be out here trying to do this. You just know somebody and deal with their shit for 4-5 years before you get to the smooth set. No, we gonna figure this shit out. We gonna figure what she doing. What she do for you? Oh, that's what she did. Okay, watch me. I can do that, because we ain't got time.
I'll say this. One thing I noticed, my wife and I, we've been together for almost 30 years, and we've been married. What year is this? We've been married for 22 years. And I can honestly say I've never stepped out on my wife. Now,
really?
Yeah,
never. Dewan,
because never.
Hand up to God. This your right hand. You've never once?
Because you know why? I feel like I got all that running out of my system before I even met my oldest daughter's mom. So, when I was younger, all right, I think there's a dance young men do in life, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've, especially being a product of being born in the 70s, growing up in the 80s, right? So during the cocaine crack era and hip hop being established, it was a different party scene than it was like in the 70s and 60s, right? I think the 80s and 90s was like, those were the defining years of our culture, if you ask me, as to what we see today. Now, I say all that to say this. So when you start thinking about the party scene, you start thinking about, where you were at certain ages, between colleges, parties, and everywhere else. If you didn't have, in my case, I didn't have a stable home life. So I never was home, and I was always out. I was always partying. If I can go to a party in New York, I'd go there. If I go from New York to Virginia Beach to Philly to Miami, anywhere I can go, I'd go, because I didn't have much. I dropped out of high school. You know what I mean? Like, I had no structure, and I would find jobs to do along the way to keep my party scene going. So I say all that to say this: when you've been kind of out there and you've seen a lot and you've experienced a lot, and you might have a bad relationship. I've had a stalker once. That is nothing fun, nothing to
So
brag
wait,
about.
so but okay, but I'm just trying to figure out at what age did you have it all out your system? Because you can't be much older than me, are
We're
you?
the same age. I just turned
Okay,
48.
and y'all been together since 30 years. So tell me how you get it all out your system at 18, sir.
Easy. You have a stalker, you have a bad experience with somebody in a different way, and a lot of that stuff kind of wakes you up to, like, all right, when I was a teenager, I was like maybe 14, I got burnt. Chlamydia. You
Okay,
think about that shit,
okay,
right? That
that's
could have been
trauma.
AIDS.
Yeah,
That could have been HIV.
yeah,
That can slow you down if you got sense, right? It's
yeah.
like
You
the
had
drug
a lot
dealer
of
that
sense.
gets
You were probably a lot wiser for your age, a lot more
yeah.
mature than most guys at 18. For
And
you,
and I think
you to settle down and be faithful for 30 years. Not to say it's
well,
impossible, but
that's
it's
because I know
not.
who I am. I know who I am. I know what I want. And that doesn't mean I'm not flirtatious. Yeah, I'm flirtatious.
Okay, so can we go to that for a second? So let me ask you
Yeah,
this:
sure.
while you may have never cheated, right? Meaning like, and I'm saying in the terms of sexual, physical, intimacy with anybody else.
Right.
You're flirting because you heard on the podcast. Hey, Edward, what's up, Ed? What's up? What's going on, Ed? How you doing, friend? Um, while you may not have been physical.
Right.
You heard on the podcast how we talked about the definition of cheating. And the
Yeah.
definition of
That
cheating
intimate yeah, I know.
is anything you can't do in front of your significant other, wife, husband, whomever, is cheating. So you just talk about
Agreed.
flirting.
Yeah.
So have your flirts gone a little bit too far that you knew that if your wife was there, she might have been like, Negro, I will pop you in the back of your head, if not popped you in the back of your
All
head.
right. So I would say in the beginning, borderline,
Mm-hmm.
but I've never I think the best way to describe it is that at different phases of my life, I was in different places. So
Mm-hmm.
when I was ready to quote unquote settle down, it was because I kind of had all the bad experiences from women that was dogging me out for finances to women that was cheating on me to women that didn't respect what I brought to the table. Like once you kind of go through that gambit, and my wife, I didn't really we were friends, right? It was kind of weird how it happened, right? I didn't pursue her, she didn't pursue me. We were kind of hanging out. And then I just kind of woke up one day and realized I had some feelings there. And then I didn't know how to
Mm-hmm.
process those because I was
Mm-hmm.
still with my oldest daughter's mom.
Mm-hmm.
So the cheating occurred. I was a cheater.
Oh, so you cheated with your wife, with your oldest daughter's
Right, right,
mother.
right,
Okay, so
right, right.
you're a
So,
reformed cheater.
but that was
Mhm.
kind of like at the tail end of my teenage years, right?
And
So I
that's
was
and
like,
that's and- yeah.
so then what happened was, and it's not like, and I think there's also a difference between kind of being stuck between two people and then being out there kind of screwing everything that walks by, right? So there's a
Mhm.
difference, right? I was in a
It's still
place of
cheating.
confusion. Yeah, it's still cheating, but not to make it any better. But
Serial cheater, one-time cheater. Cheater's a cheater's a cheater's a cheater.
okay,
Yeah.
no,
Cheaters
yes,
are
maybe
cheaters are cheaters.
so.
Listen, you don't do that. Don't even do that. And we're not even
So
about to play that game
hold on.
here.
So all
Okay.
right. So
If
so,
you
so let me
cheating
get
with
to
one or you cheating with 100,
hold
it's just
on.
like a sin.
But let me get to the point where I cut it all, where I kind of figure out where I needed to be, and from that point forward, I haven't looked back. Because when you realize who's in your corner in life, and when you have nothing, and I had nothing, we had nothing together, and you know, I stopped with my oldest daughter's mom, and from that point forward, which is I'd say because my oldest daughter is 27, so I'd say for 26 plus years because she had got my ex got pregnant at the end of our relationship. So, there's a baby, whatever. But the point being is that when I moved on with my wife, that was it. And from there, we built everything together. And when you start building something with someone, that can't be replaced. Like, you don't
It can't
jeopardize
be,
that for
but
two
this is
booties.
what but you're right. And Ed just said flirting is not cheating. Flirting is cheating when your flirt can't be done in front of your significant other.
Oh, no, let me
So
tell you. I always flirt in front of my wife. Like that's how I get out of tickets. I mean,
Well,
but
it's
it's
not
a
cheating if that's what I'm saying. If you can do, because friendly flirting is not a big deal, but when
right.
your flirt is inappropriate, okay, and the inappropriateness is defined by could you do that in front of your wife? So if you can do what you do, which is your friendly flirting in front of your wife, then it's not
Right.
inappropriate. When it becomes something that, ooh, I can't do that if my wife was right here. When you gotta think about that, like I can't
Right.
tell this girl, you got a nice ass or whatever, right? Because that's inappropriate. So all I'm saying is whatever
Right.
it's defined by your relationship, because
I don't think
everybody,
that's flirting though. I think that's just why
dude,
would
let me
some
tell you
guy
something.
tell
If my husband if he said to me, damn, babe, she got a big ass, I'm
that's
okay with that.
different.
But if
That's a
you said
conversation
it
between you and
to
your
the girl,
husband.
you mean you can say to a girl in front of your wife, you got a big ass?
That's
You can
not
say
flirting to
that
me.
to a girl in front of your wife.
Yeah, that's disrespectful.
Oh,
I
that's what
mean,
I'm talking about. No,
yeah,
so
yeah, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking
well,
about
I'm
that.
talking about, but see, here's the thing. People's thresholds are different. Everybody's
Right.
relationship is different. So what you consider flirting in your relationship may not, or inappropriate or appropriate in your
Right.
relationship may not be the same for everybody. So all I'm saying is if we can just leave the definition of flirting to
Right. I agree
whatever
with that.
you can in front of your
Yeah.
partner, then you shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Um,
So and everything I do, I've either done in front of my wife's. Like I use the same comedic lines, if you will, right? And one time it backfired on me. And this is a good example of when flirting goes too far. So it was the grandmother of one of my daughter's friends. And every time I'd see her, I'd be like, "Ooh," I said, "Baby, if I was 5 years younger and single," I'd do that kind of stuff, right? And it was always like, ha ha ha, right? And this lady's in her 60s or whatever. So, and she was kind of like a grandmother, mothery type to all of us, right? But when she would, so when she see me, she give me a kiss on the cheek and a hug, that kind of stuff, right?
mhm,
Very
mhm,
innocent.
mhm.
Except this one particular day, I was flirting with her, and she was like, "Ooh." She walked up to me and she said, "Hey, big boy," and she leaned in to kiss me on the cheek. She went left, and I went right, and we ended up in the wrong place together.
Ooh, lip lock, deep lock.
so,
Yeah.
she, so, and I just sat there like, I was like, "Oh Jesus Christ, I can't believe that just happened."
So if we had to put that on record, that's the only time you cheated. Get
I
on
wouldn't
now.
call it cheat because my wife was sitting there. It was
Oh
it was
my
a
god.
funny moment. So but
But
um,
but for somebody who's never cheated in 30 years, okay,
I think
that was considered
now
your cheating.
now I, my thing is I'm an old school man in the sense of I don't put myself in situations that either I can't explain or is going to come back on me or anything. In the age of technology and everything else, there's always some kind of misappropriation. And then as a landlord, my whole thing was no one's ever going to be able to say, "Oh, he tried to blackmail me for rent," or we traded sexual
Oh yeah,
favors
you
for none of
definitely
that
can't.
stuff.
You can't blackmail.
So
You definitely can't put
so
those two together.
so not just I think just in general it's just a line in the sand. I got too much to lose. I got too like I don't play with it. And I think guys
So
that do, they just ready for marriage, I
uh-oh,
suppose.
your service was coming in and out.
Still there?
But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm still here. So one of the things that Johnny was saying was he was talking about hunting. And now that and men are naturally hunters, right? So just
Yep.
because you're married, it doesn't mean that those instincts just go away. You just get more mature about how to handle those desires or whatever. And you still may be desiring other women, but you just know how to handle it. You don't, go, you don't cross the line. My thing is, how does one, and I guess this is probably, there's anybody out there that has been a serial cheater, I'd like to talk to you because Dewan, you're definitely an anomaly.
I
As
wouldn't
you
go
may,
that far. I think it's just that I've never found anything worth risking my marriage. And remember
okay,
back when we
but
was on
you
the
do
radio, I
understand what
said
an anomaly is, right?
I was gonna say the easiest solution if women listening, anyone's listening, the best way to keep your man home, keep his balls empty and his belly full. That's it in a nutshell.
honey, let me, boy. I'm saying, not saying boy disrespectfully. I'm saying, boy, bye. That is not. If you don't get out of
It
here with
is.
that 1960
It is.
mantra,
At least 5
everybody,
times a
no,
week.
it's not. It's not. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not. It's not. Listen, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
All right, tell me.
First of all, you are an anomaly in that most guys that you meet, and girls these days too, we'll talk about
Right.
the women in a minute, they have cheated or been cheated on.
Right.
For you to have been in a relationship committed for 30 years and you've been able to process the consequences of action, so not to do those types of things is not very normal. It's just not. Dewan, it's not normal. It's not normal. Most men have cheated or have cheated several times. That's just it. So please accept the badge of honor, because this is honorable.
I know brothers that's in the same boat.
You are an anomaly. Many of you don't exist. Please.
We do. I think we do. I think the problem is we get labeled. Like a lot of my friends. Listen, I'm not discounting what you're saying, and I don't want to upset you. But I guess what I'm saying is, and maybe it goes back to one of your guests that said about the circle of friends. I think it was the other gentleman, I forget his name, but he was like, he don't, or maybe it was your husband, say he don't hang out with men that's not married.
Yeah, this is all after you've gotten to a certain level of emotional maturity. Most men don't get that at 18. Most men, some men don't have it at 48. I mean, most men don't ever get it. But I'm just saying, like, men are hunters. We get that, right? But the process of sitting there and saying, while you got this big ass in front of you, maybe you've had a few drinks, maybe it's timing, nobody would find out, I can just do it real quick, and all the things align. You're not sitting there, most men aren't sitting there thinking about, oh wow, I may lose my wife, I may lose my home, and my kids will be separated from, and most men ain't thinking like that. They just aren't. That's just the truth of the matter.
I'll tell you what they really just need to think is, some shit condoms can't protect you from.
They ain't think about that either. They ain't think about getting nothing.
Hey, I'm just, I had a friend of mine years ago. He had to go home and tell his lady that she might need to get tested for something, that he then had to explain why he had to tell his, he was basically telling her, hey, I cheated on you and this girl's got this and I'm getting tested, you might want to get tested. Like, I would never want to have that conversation. I would never want to have to look at my children and be like, yo, our marriage is breaking up because of some stupid shit I did. I mean, I don't know. I think it really comes back to, because I had to grow up at an early age, because I was out there early, right? I think, like I said, when you go through some bad shit, right? I used to have this one girl, she slashed the tires of my car, bricked the windows, all kind of crazy. When you go through some real bullshit with somebody and you just want normalcy, and you hang out in the club, there's nothing in those clubs. It's nothing. Brothers getting shot. Like, I was never one for drama and things like that. I'm kind of, I mean, if you know me, I like to be funny online, but I'm pretty reserved. I'm focused on my business and the next phase of my life and accomplishing things. And I think when you're focused in life, you don't have time for the bullshit.
Let me say hello to a few people, because Dewan, you're right. When you're focused, but because I know that, like I said, you started your relationship really young. You were probably more mature than most 18-year-olds to even be there to get this far 30 years later. But most of us aren't experiencing a Dewan. Right, your wife is one lucky woman. Okay, one lucky woman. I actually want to bring some people on. Hey, Touch Tone, what's up? What's up, Touch Tone? I'm just now seeing all these comments. Hey, what's up? What's up, hey, Renee? What's up, baby?
These are bullshit.
Right.
Which part, Renee?
She can't believe. I know. See, these comments were coming in as we were talking, and I wasn't able to see them until now. Renee, where you at, girl? I'm gonna bring you in. Hold on. I'm gonna post this link. Can I post this link? I'm gonna post this link, and I'm gonna have you. I want you to come in, Renee, because I want to hear from Renee and Touch Tone. If you're there, Touch Tone, stand by. I want you to come in too. So I'm posting this link, guys. I want you guys to click on this link I just realized everybody was commenting. I want y'all to
Now,
click on that link, and
I
then I'm
want to
going
be
to bring
clear.
you guys in.
I'm not saying like it's always been peachy keen and we haven't had issues in our marriage, but no infidelity. That's
Well, no, well, we get
that I'm
relationships.
aware of anyway. That I'm aware of.
Exactly. Well, if you're not
Right.
aware, it didn't happen, right? If the cat
Right.
didn't bring the mouse to the front door, it never happened. And that's what I said. You could be doing whatever out there, as long as it doesn't come to my front door, then
My motto is what I don't know won't hurt me, but what I find out might kill you.
Look,
That's
on
real
this
talk.
on this episode of Snapped, Moshe Loren Kimber, okay. But let's see. Click that link. Did that link post? I think it posted. Let me see if it posted. I think it posted. Let me see. Just trying to see if it posted.
But it's nothing out there. I mean, it's really nothing out there.
Well,
when you I shouldn't say it like that. What I should say is, all my boxes are being checked, right? I have someone who understands me even when I have the worst days and it seems like I'm blacking out and crazy. When I have these crazy ass ideas like, I think we should buy an apartment building in Atlanta. And she's like, what? Like, I don't get resistance. So somebody understands like this man has passion, he has vision, and as crazy as his ideas may seem, I'm going to give him, free reign to move autonomously. And to me, that is something that you can't pay for.
yeah.
So I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, so
You
we complement each other in different ways. So,
mhm.
and then with regards to relationships with my female friends and things like that, I think the reason why it's never been an issue for me is because one, a lot of my female friends are really good looking. So it's not like I'm one of those guys who like gotta, oh my God, oh look at her. I gotta touch her. Oh, look
So
at
you're
that.
used to seeing cute women.
Yeah, like when you know what I mean? Like it's like if you work in the candy store, are you really gonna be eating all the candy? Or are you just
Well,
gonna be like, let me just throw the
Duan,
candy?
again, I think it is wonderful the things that you're saying. I think it's awesome, but I promise you, most men it just ain't built like this. They just aren't, and I wish they were. I wish I could be more optimistic about the fact that more men like you exist, but I got too many single friends that tell me otherwise. Renee, speaking of which, my girl Renee, you there, girl?
Can you hear me, big sis?
I can hear you, darling.
Hi,
I
Renee.
can hear you. Renee said bullshit.
At
what point, Renee?
Which point?
Points. I understand, congrats you on being a 100% man, not cheating as you say. But our team, 18, really up until close to like 30 for men, possible.
I agree.
It can be possible, but you must be that diamond in the rough.
No, I wouldn't say that because I got friends that are in the same situation. I mean, we just.
But see, I've been in and I broke that off because I felt that he was cheating. And I'm a
Did you have
one-on-one.
proof?
Huh?
Did you have proof, or you just felt like he was cheating?
I never court, but when I had people calling my home, there's a problem. No,
Oh yeah.
no other female should have my number. And to me, I'm the type of woman, I don't care who done did, what we did, what he bought. I can't stand for that because I know myself, I know my word, have that happen. But going back to some things that you said, and when you say that you're looking at somebody behind and saying that it's big and this and that, and especially that's flirting, and to me, that's a slide cheating. That's besides like.
But do you
feel like it's behind? I don't say that you girl yet. I never said that.
No, what he was saying, I said that was the example I gave. I said I was just trying to give an example of if you were to say something like that, you would not say that in front of your wife, so that would constitute cheating. That's something that I just didn't get. I wanted to give an example of what you would or wouldn't say in front of your partner.
What do you consider, sir, actually for cheating? A good example.
Who, me?
Mm-hmm.
I think what Moshe said earlier about if it's something that you can't do in front of me, that would probably be cheating. That's why I try to keep everything transparent. We have parties, we entertain mutually. Um, if I see a big booty, I'm able to look at my wife. I tell my wife, like, look at that right there. We make jokes about certain things, like, so we have a very I won't say, our communication is very open. Like, we communicate about everything.
Right. And even
And
that being said, excuse me, with that being said, that your communication is open and that you do everything, that's still not to say that that's not cheating. You're cheating,
no,
Well,
I understand.
maybe
Renee, well,
openly.
this is where I have to disagree with you, because if a man can do what Dewan said he does in front of his wife and his wife is okay with it, it's not cheating. It may be to you, because your definition of what you accept or don't accept, it may be different from another woman. So it's
Right.
not, I guess what I'm saying is that's a very personal definition in terms of what exactly is constituting cheating.
Right.
If that couple is okay with it, it's not cheating. Like, for instance, couples who are in open relationships that communicate about it, that understand that my woman or my man will be with somebody or whatever, as long as we're communicating about it. For them, that's not cheating. For you, it would be, because that's not what you've. That's not the definition.
So, like you said, everybody communicate differently, and like you have open. That's just how it works good for you guys.
Right. Well, let me just say this. Fair. Ed, who's on, Ed said that he loves too hard to cheat. Honey, listen, did they break the mold when they made y'all? Because I'm looking for who y'all say, who the men are that are still out there, like you, Ed, and like Dewan. Because can we get a serial cheater on the line? Because these are the kind of men that I'm used to seeing, dealing with, that my friend circle has been used to seeing and dealing with. And to your point that you made earlier, Dewan, about the two having a lot of money. Men with a lot of money typically feel like that's that's the entitlement to cheat,
right,
because women will tend to, allow them to do whatever they want to do, because they want to stay in the house, ride in the car, continue to get the bags, and whatever the lifestyle affords them. So they will openly allow it. Or when I say openly, they will publicly denounce it, right? But at the same time, they'll stay even though he'll continue to publicly humiliate them. You see it all the time in Hollywood. It's like, how many cheats does this guy get before the wife actually leaves? But it's like, do you want to give up that lifestyle? But how about broke Negroes are cheating?
Yeah, but so the thing is, I said earlier, either lack of money or too much money, right, will bring out a cheater or what. No, we were talking about divorce. When you've built something with somebody, not like one person has all the money and another person comes in a relationship. When you've built from nothing, and along the way, you've been sick together. I'm not talking about having a flu, like, somebody has a debilitating disease, cancer, lupus, whatever, and you've kind of gone through the motions, and when you have all that with somebody, how do you fuck that up? Why would you want to risk that? You know what I mean? Like,
because that's the other head, that brain doesn't have a left and a right hemisphere. That's why.
I guess, because for me, like again, I move with autonomy. If I decided I'm going to go down to Miami with the fellas, my wife don't give me that. She says, "Hey, go. You need a break. You're working too hard." If I send her to Mexico with the girls, whatever, get out of here. Go have some fun. And like I said before, I don't care what you do. Just don't let me find out you did something you shouldn't be doing. But
I tell you what, wow. I wish my husband was here, only because he can definitely speak from the other side, right? Yeah. He can speak from the other side, because I think women really want to know or want to feel like what you said, Dewan, is true. if you take care of his stomach, what'd you say? What you take care of his?
If you keep his balls empty and his belly full, you got nothing to worry about.
Listen, let me tell you something.
It's the truth.
If Jay-Z
And
can
I
cheat
think a
on
lot of women don't
Beyonce, if
understand
Halle
that, and
Berry
that's
can
why
be
they keep
cheated
getting cheated
on,
on.
if sir, sorry, if Beyonce
That's where
can
I
be
sit
cheated
back.
on, if Halle Berry, we ain't got a chance in hell. Do
But
you hear
see,
what I'm saying?
again, what is Halle Berry and Beyonce bringing other than looks? You can be the finest
So
woman
you
in the
don't think they
world,
keeping
but
their
if you
balls
ain't,
empty?
if you
You don't
ain't,
think
if you
Beyonce
ain't
and
bringing,
Halle Berry keeping the balls in?
listen, because you know what? Let me tell you something. Some of the finest women are the laziest fucks in bed. I'm sorry, it's the truth. You all that prettiness and you don't know how to screw, or you think somebody's supposed to cater to you. Like, no, let me see that whore come out of you. You know what I mean? Like,
But
and that's why they get cheated on.
I've seen women that men, rave about being great in bed and they still
Right.
cheat. So this is what I'm saying. That's not true. It's not true. Like it's not, and you know what? Here's the thing. And I don't want women to feel like that it's your fault that a man would go out and cheat, because you could be doing all of what you just said. She can be turning you upside down every single night. She can have 4-course meal prepared for you every night, and you still go out and cheat. And then now she's blaming her. She's blaming herself.
But we got to turn for men like that. We got to turn for men like that. Light skinned niggas, but that's another story.
Light skinned niggas.
I'm joking.
Here comes the hate mail.
Listen, I'm messing up.
Here comes the hate mail from all the light skinned. Ed says, what does Ed say? Ed said, hold on, let me read Ed's comment. Ed said, I was in the street and working, and I just felt like I had a lot to offer. I really wanted to be loved, because in the streets there is no love. I was something else, but I want to die. But I won't die. Wait, but I want to die in loyalty.
It might be the autocorrect trying to say something else.
Yeah, trying to say something else.
Yeah, but
I guess basically what he's saying is that he's much like you, Dewan, and that he was in the street. There's no love in the streets, and he just wants to go back home to know that this is a place, a safe space where you're going to be loved and nurtured and taken care of, and that's what we all want. But it's such a shame that women, and I can't speak for other races of women because I'm only Black, but I know for Black women it's just so incredibly difficult for them to find a mate, somebody who will one, we talked about this in the podcast, somebody who is on their level, because it's no secret that Black women are outpacing Black men when it comes to their careers, success, and just all those things. And then because social media has made access so readily available that hunter in most men is not they're not tamed enough to deny the temptation, to denounce the temptation. And so they're running after every skirt, every BBL that they see. You know what I mean? And it's just
so if I can interject real quick. All right. So I think a big part of my success in my marriage is the fact that all that stuff is really current, right? All the BBLs and the internet, Instagram, and all that other stuff. That shit wasn't around 15 years ago. And 15 years ago, my family was young, so my priorities were on my family. When I got married, it was probably, I always say there was 4 truly happy days the happiest days of my life, watching each one of my children come into the world and the day I got married. And even in the lowest points of my marriage, I think about that day I got married, and that kind of keeps me focused. Like, you know what? I'm going to do my part, because that was my obligation. That was my promise. Mm-hmm. And if this thing don't work, it won't be because of me. And not only that, but along the way, I've had a lot older friends that kind of counseled me. And you got to have a good counsel around you. I think that's important too. Yeah. If you don't have a good counsel around you, if you just got a bunch of dog friends that's always cheating, come on, nigga, let's go down to Miami and turn up. Like a lot of my friends are professionals, like-minded, small business owners, major players, whatever the case. So when your priorities are different, your mindset is different.
Yeah.
And, like I said, I kind of had it real rough early
Well,
on.
how do you think? But I guess my question to you is, try to answer this from, think about the men who aren't,
There are
aren't
dogs that
able.
still they're professional dogs, or they got it going on and they still doggy, if you will.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm saying, like, how do you contend with the access that people now have with just like dropping in somebody's DM? You don't even have to go out of the house to meet people anymore. You can drop in somebody's DM. And how do they contend with that and rationalize, or tame the beast, if you will, to stay committed in their relationships, even if they got a lot to lose? Like, how do you turn the hunter off? How do you turn him off?
Same way I didn't sell drugs growing up. Cocaine and crack was all around me. All my friends are making thousands
You're
of
the
dollars
rose
a
in the
day.
concrete,
So
Dewan.
I mean, but what I'm saying is, like, there has to be something inside you that want different, that want better,
Want something
that
different.
want to say, hey, you know what? Nah, I got to break the cycle.
Hey, Jeff. Hey, bro, Jeff. I'm gonna put this. Jeff, I want you to come on, bro. I want you to come on. You see that, Renee, darling? Renee said it's hard to find true love. It is. It really is, Renee. But we gonna keep working with these men until we can find them. Thank you, sis.
They're out there.
Come on, honey.
Love you too.
I think they're out there.
All right,
but
love you.
They're out there, but I think a lot of the good brothers that got dogged out early, that was told they were corny.
Maybe they turned gay.
I don't know about that, but I'll tell you this
Well,
much.
that's what they say. They say no, this is real. This is true. Look, I don't want no hate mail from the LGBTQ plus community, but this is what they say. Okay, I live in Atlanta, and it's a lot of the down low brothers or the bisexual men out here in Atlanta. It's a lot of that. But they say that we've lost a lot of our brothers to homosexuality, jail, the grave, and to other race of women, Black women. We've lost our Black men to those 4 things. Agree or disagree?
I'm going to have to disagree, and I'll tell you why. You can't lose something that's not there. In other words, a gay man is a gay man. You don't just wake up tomorrow and say, hey, I'm going to try this dick today. No, if you're gay, you're gay. So you're not losing. They was never part of the population of.
They were. No, because they have a lot of them have children. A lot of them have families. A lot of them have regular heterosexual.
Yeah, but they might be trying to figure it out early before they identified as being gay. But that doesn't, like, I know gay guys that are gay that have children, and they hid in the closet because at that time, again, you got to think about where we are in society. 20 years ago, it wasn't prevalent for people to come out. You know what I mean? And that was all races of gay men.
Right, but it's still. But Eric, okay, so what I'm saying to you is
I don't count that as in part of our equation.
Well, you have to, because oh gosh, you have to count it in the equation, because if we're talking about we're talking about African American men versus African American women, it's a 10-to-1 ratio. And the ratio is the way it is because of those 4 elements. So if you have,
okay, I'll give you that.
A lot of our men being taken away because of one of those 4 elements, then it leaves less of a pool for us to pick from. And then let's not go into men who date outside of their race. Now listen, I'm not prejudiced at all. But do I believe that Black men specifically, because there's so few of them, do I believe that Black men should date within their race? Absolutely. Because it's too many Black available women for you to go and try to find what you're seeking outside, because it exists here. And here's what I also know, Dewan. I know that Black women are the least revered race of women in the world. And here's what I mean. You don't see any other race running to the hood to find them a good old Black woman. You don't see nobody when they make it all the way to the top, I got to get me a Black woman on my arm. You don't see nobody else's race running to come and save us. But when our men, okay, gain success, become accomplished, and all of that, where do they go? Where do they go to walk down, to get a token to walk down the red carpet with? They don't come and get us. They don't come and get us because they want some, they want a mixed breed. And I'm not prejudiced. Please don't take this as me being prejudiced. I'm passionate about it.
I know you're saying it's not a priority for them.
It's not a priority for our men to choose us, but neither is it a priority for any other race to choose us. So if our race of men aren't choosing us and other races of men aren't choosing us, where does that leave us? And that's all I'm saying. And that's all. Drops the mic. Hold on.
They said she can't use your comb. Don't bring her home.
If she can't use your comb, don't bring us. And I got an afro pick. Okay. I got an afro pick.
All right. So you just went down a whole different rabbit hole because now you started talking about access, right? You're really talking about access. When
access, your access is ridiculous anymore.
Yeah, because like I can't speak about these athletes and these entertainers. I really can't because I don't know what their history is and I really can't speak on any of that. But all I can say is that the pickings are slim. They are.
The pickings are slim.
But at the same time, I know guys that are single, educated, successful, but anytime they try to engage some of their sisters, some of the sisters that are their counterparts in terms of education and availability, I hate to say it, but the sisters at that level, they treat brothers like they ain't shit. I mean,
okay, let me ask you this. So, okay, do you think that sisters on that level always want to date guys with potential, or they want to date an equal? Like,
I didn't say potential. I said guys on their level. In other words, like I have two masters.
Guys on their level. Please.
I'm saying
I've got plenty of sisters.
Like, I got 2 master's degrees and 6 figures and all that.
Not you. I'm talking about what friends.
Well, hold on. Let me finish. And I would say 80% of the guys I hang with are either PhDs. One died single.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Another one, he's still single. I think he's still halfway through his PhD. He lives in North Jersey, and we have these discussions when he comes down to my parties, and he says, the sisters, they don't want me. They want the nigga out of prison with the tight body, and like he work out for a living.
Okay, hold on. No. So you're telling me that a guy with a PhD is trying to date another woman of his equal, and she wants a guy out of prison. So she has a PhD too. Let's just say she's equal.
Well,
and she wants a guy out of prison.
I've worked and
what kind of women are y'all?
Listen. It's not. Here's the thing: you're not going to get the same thing everywhere. Like when I was in corporate America.
But that's not that.
The sisters, hold on. Let me finish. When I was in corporate America, the sisters I worked with. First of all, some of them, a lot of black people, not just women, but men and women. When you get in corporate America, all of a sudden they've been drinking bleach and fucking, they turn their nose up when they see each other, right? So it's like there's that, and then so when you start looking at access and availability, the sisters that you're talking about are somewhere way out of reach from the brothers that match them. Maybe down in Atlanta, you see a higher abundance of it, but in other areas, you either going to have
women. Well, that's what I'm saying, Dewan. I don't think maybe you didn't. Maybe we're talking about what I'm saying? Like, women. Are we talking about? I'm talking about
access of equal access. Successful black men, successful black women, right? Trying to get together. Now, my brothers that are successful, when they try to get with the sisters, a lot of them are, going to the happy hour, and then they're eyeballing the nigga that just got out of prison, or
I don't know what successful women looking for a guy out of prison. Those are not successful women. Okay, let's just say that.
What I'm saying is,
successful woman with a PhD.
Some women want a thug, and then some women they're
not successful women. If you're looking for a guy, I don't know many. Listen,
People like what they like. I
where
think that's
you
what I'm trying to
from,
say, right?
women with PhDs are looking for women, guys in prisons, but the girlfriends that I
No,
know
I
that
was-
are successful are not looking for a
Yeah,
thug. They're looking for an equal, and that's very hard to find because he's already been taken and he's spoken for by one of these four things. Okay,
right.
well, other than being,
I see what she's saying. I know what she's saying. He's not available.
he's not
Either he's good, he's in
available.
prison, he's gay, or he's
Well,
already married.
if he's, I'm just okay. So let's take
That's-
prison and dead off, okay? Because if you're successful and you dead or you in prison, you ain't good to nobody, okay?
Right.
Because you ain't. Matter of fact, you ain't even successful if you're in prison, okay? Let's
Right.
take those two off the four list. Let's take those two options off the list of four.
Right.
Let's go back to bisexuality.
Or no, you said he's gay or he's white, dating a white woman, right?
Or he's with a woman of another race.
Right.
So the numbers ain't numbering. Just by a number standpoint, the numbers aren't numbering. Ed says a Black woman is the most beautiful being on the earth, but ladies can be picky. And thank you. I do think that we are the most beautiful species on the earth. And yes, we should be picky because here again. So what you see a lot of times, because the numbers just aren't numbering, is you see a lot of successful Black women dating down.
Yeah, definitely.
Even dating down. And they date down because, hell, you want love, you want to find love somewhere, right? You want to find love somewhere. So you try to date down and you try to narrow it down.
So is that why they're getting cheated on? Because they're dating down? Is that what you think?
Huh?
Is that why they're getting cheated on? Because they're dating down? Is that
No,
what
I think, no, this is the thing. For me, cheating, 80 blind, crippled, and crazy. Most men cheat. That's just my theory. And you could debate me on that. I said most men cheat. I don't care how much money you got, how old you are, most men cheat. But the dating down, I don't think that they get cheated on just because they're dating down. I think they date down because they just don't have, the numbers just don't work in our favor. So you got to get love from somewhere. So that sometimes means you got to go down in terms of a man's, where he is in his life. And so when you go down, you at least try to put some criteria together or on how down you're going to go. Right. So now you're looking for a man with a little bit of potential. You're looking for a man that's, maybe he ain't there yet, but maybe he's working hard and he's building his business and, he still hasn't gotten that break that he needs or wants or what have you to kind of take him over the top. And you might be what do you call it? The income earner and that's fine. Most women will date a man with potential, but I'm just like, damn, why we always got to date a man with potential when we already there? If they would just come on back home and stop going over there, because there's plenty of men over there in the sea of other races that we could potentially choose from if they would choose us.
But I think that ties back to what happened in that man's life in his early experiences, because men too, we want love. And if you're not giving us love, when I say you, not you personally, but the Black woman, we get love from somewhere. So where you're dating down, we're dating out, if we're dating out at all. So
well, are you dating out because Black women are too, what is it? What have I been told about us? Black women are too aggressive. Black women are too.
No, I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think it has to do with who loves me back. And it depends on what age you are and what your upbringing was and where your priorities are. There's a lot that goes into, a man's psyche and what happens. I mean, hell, when I was a teenager, I didn't sell drugs. So I was corny to every girl, They called me Dusty Dewan, right? That's what they used to call me. Dusty D. That's what they used to call me because I didn't have gold. I didn't have the latest Jordans. I didn't have anything. All the sisters used to shit on me. Major dump. Fast forward 20 years, half of them want to be tenants in my rentals. But I don't say that to be like, oh, got you. No, but what I'm saying is, like, if you rejected me and this population rejected me because I didn't meet your criteria when I was in my teens and 20s or whatever, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying like me personally, but I'm saying most Black men. If you're rejecting us because we're not status, we don't have the gold chains and the BMWs and all that stuff.
That's young girl stuff, though. We too grown.
But at the same time, the question is, why are men going outside the race and why there's not a bigger pool? Well, this is a contributing factor. You can't shit on men in their younger ages when they don't have shit, and then they get out and see the world and meet different people and have access, because that's what we're talking about, access to
Okay,
people.
so you think
places,
that men
and
go outside of their race because when they were growing up, they weren't desired by Black women. So now they're like, they've got a vendetta against
no,
us. So they're not gonna bring
again,
us up with them
I think
because
you're putting
we picked
too
on
much.
them when they were in
I think you're
school.
putting too much emphasis on the Black component. I think it's just
Well,
I
that's all
love
I
who
can
loves
say.
me
I
back.
don't know how to be anything else but Black.
No, but what I'm saying is, I think people, men, women, whoever, gay, straight, people love people that love them back. That's all. That's the only point I'm trying to make.
Oh,
And
so
if you
you're
find
saying
that,
Black women don't love Black. Okay, you're saying people
I'm,
love. Okay,
I'm
I
saying
can't
in
help but
general.
feel
So
that.
what I'm saying is, it now becomes a matter of access, right? So if Black women are looking for love for Black men, and they're in a space or place, even, right? Because it could be geographically, they could be in a place geographically where there might not be an abundance of available Black men, right? If you lived in Hawaii and half the population was Polynesian, and you meet somebody that's part Polynesian, part white or whatever, and they, you know what I mean, they give you everything you want emotionally, financially, spiritually, sexually. You know, if that's where you are in that space and time, then are you going to say no to that and then fly across the country to
I
New
mean, there's
Jersey?
an
I'm
extenuating
just saying, but
circumstance
that's what we're
along.
talking about.
But no,
That's every day, though. That's every
that's
day. People.
that's extenuating. I'm
No, it's
talking
not the same
about.
way, because if you think about it, if my whole existence was Camden, New Jersey, and I didn't go outside Camden, New Jersey, I would find my love in Camden, New Jersey. But if my job took me up and down the
That's some
coast,
extenuating circumstances. I'm talking
how
about.
so?
I'm not talking about Black men that traveled abroad and because they in Ireland is nothing but white
No, I
women
just
and
use
they
that as
end up
an
loving a
example. I
white
just
woman.
use that as an
Okay, that's an
example.
extenuating circumstance. I
I
know,
think
but it's extenuating. I'm talking about
how?
common everyday Black men. Okay, because they desire the features of
I don't
other
know nothing
races.
about that. I don't know nothing about that.
This is why BBL started, because they want big asses like we do. So they went and said, okay,
Yeah, see,
I know how to really become you. I got
those are boys. Those aren't
I
men.
got the
Those
good
are boys.
hair, right? But maybe
Yeah,
we don't,
those are
our
boys.
butts aren't big enough, so we're gonna make our butts big enough. Now we really gonna take y'all men because we are built like a Black woman, but we ain't a Black woman.
I,
We're an
I,
exotic woman with a Black booty,
I,
so it's.
I can't see. I really can't speak too much on any of that because I'm not on the scene, so I don't know
I know,
what
Dewan.
drive.
That's why
But
I needed
I'm
somebody who's
just,
on that scene because you are very, very, you are
I'm.
atypical of what we're dealing with, what the new dating scene and men of this era and what they're desiring. You're very different than than what's happening now. You just are. And it's not a knock. It's great because your wife,
No, but I also think
is a
that
very lucky woman. But
I also think that
oh gosh,
a
you
lot
done
of
got me hot, Chad.
a
You
lot
done
of
got me hot.
I also think a
Not
lot of these characteristics that we talk about, if they're not in people in general, like in other words, um, if if you don't have a good relationship with your friends, chances are you ain't gonna have a good relationship in a relationship or marriage. If you were one to go between your friends gossiping like, yo, this nigga was talking shit, or this chick was saying this, chances are you probably cheat, because it's character flaws we're talking about, right? There's a difference between men being hunters at young ages when their testosterone is raging and they just want to kind of slay everything in front of them. And then there's a difference between men in their 40s that are just like bored in their marriage and they want some excitement. And there's a difference between men that understand the priorities in their life and what they need to do to maintain certain levels of happiness. So as we unpack all the contributing factors to why men cheat, because really that, or why people cheat, because we don't just say men, because women cheat too.
yeah,
as
they
we
do.
as we unpack all of this
And we
stuff,
didn't even get to talk about that much. Dang it.
yeah, it,
And
it's
not
it's
time for the ratchet.
more it's more it's more than BBLs and what's on Instagram and things like that. Like I said, if we look at history, right, technology right now is playing a big part, I'd say, in the past 10 years. But prior to 10 years, there was other things. There was other factors. the crack cocaine era, cocaine crack era, however you want to look at it, that itself was a era where we're talking about access and opportunity, and how women treated men and men treated women. Like, you know, the drug culture itself, you know, if I got, you know, 3 different cars, you know, chances are I probably got 10 different women.
Yeah.
You know, if I have access, right? I keep going back to access and opportunity. You know,
Yeah.
we start the conversation with lack of money or too much money is the reason why sometimes divorce happens. Either somebody ain't pulling their weight, or somebody got too much money and they want to go out and relive their lost childhood or youth or whatever the case. But ultimately, you have to have something within you that says, hey, I'm going to be this kind of person. I'm going to be that kind of person. You know, and I think for me, I have daughters, and I always say the man I am is going to be the man that they're attracted to.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if I'm an Ike Turner type nigga slapping my woman around, they're gonna allow some man to hit them. If I'm the cheating type, then they're gonna allow a man to cheat on them. But if I show them, you know, consistency and, hey, you know what? Yeah, mom and dad's arguing, but I'm here in the house. I don't leave this house.
Right.
When we have our issues, yeah, I might not speak to her for a month, but we're gonna deal with it here.
Right.
Let me
No, I definitely understand. And I mean, you know, you got to be the example that you want them to, you know, actually look for outside of the house. You got to be that man, because you're the first man that they ever fell in love with, right? So you have to, you know, certainly uphold that by how you behave, not what you say, but how you behave. We got to get ready to wrap. It's 8:11, and we didn't get to talk about all the other things like women that cheat. I just got off into my whole tangent about, child. Look, thank you, guys.
I want to hear what more Renee had to say. I really want to hear what Renee had to say more, because oh my gosh, she's ready to bring the thunder, and we got to get Edward talking.
Renee been silently cussing you out over here on the side chat, probably.
I know, but
she covering
there's
her
a method to the
face.
madness, sister. There really is, and I think there's.
But yeah, we're gonna have to do a part 2 on this, only because I like hearing your perspective, and it's nice to know that there are some great guys still out there. Unfortunately, you're not available, so you're not a part of the pool of available guys.
There's thousands, millions of us out there.
Well, I don't want to get off into that again. There's not millions of people, because if there were, I wouldn't have 5 good single friends still. Okay. Needless to say, thank you guys. I thank you guys for joining us tonight. And Instagram, child, y'all gonna get this thing one way or another. I'm only on Instagram to encourage you guys to go to Facebook or YouTube, part of the conversation, and I can bring you into the conversation, because I can't multi-stream on this platform. So thank you guys for sitting here and just looking at me the whole time. But to YouTube and Facebook, thank you guys. Thank you for being here. She still loves you, Dewan. She still loves you. Thank you, Ed, for chiming in.
Conversations.
Basically says BBLs are disrespectful. And you know what? Let me tell y'all better watch out, because in your old and golden age, honey, them butts are not going to fare well.
Looking like Madonna.
Oh God. Yeah. We will see you back here next Monday. At 7. But don't forget, a new episode of With That Said will be uploaded this Thursday at 3:00. And this week I'll be talking to the millennial, my daughter. It's gonna be a mommy-daughter chat this Thursday. Did I say Wednesday? I meant to say Thursday. Did I say Wednesday?
I think you said Thursday originally.
Okay. This Thursday, 3:00. It's gonna be a mommy-daughter millennial chat, because, honey, we kiki. Okay, that's my best friend. That's my daughter. I'm still mommy, but I'm her friend too. And so, you know, be a fly on the wall of that conversation coming this Thursday. But we'll join you back here Monday, 7 p.m. And Dewan, thank you so much, darling.
Thank you for having me. I'll see you next week.
All right, see you next week. Goodbye.
All right, bye.